Hello guys, welcome back to Music Monday's Retrospective, where I take a look at the last 10 songs I made, talk about what went into them, what I think about them, etc. So why don't we jump on right in with number 31, Thermal Energy. Now this one's actually a remix from Crypt the Necrodancer, the Zone 3-3 theme, and it's still my favorite song from the soundtrack so far, so I decided to give it a bit of a remix. Now Denny Baranowski still has yet to release the Zone 4 soundtrack, but I'm still excited for what's to come. Actually, he's announced that he's polishing up all the tracks before the full release, so I'm excited to see what he does, especially with Zone 3-3. I was considering doing a separate video where I actually sang the shopkeeper's part, but I never really got around to it. All in all though, I think I'm fairly happy with this one. If I could change it, I would probably make it sound a little bit more similar to the original, because some of the feedback I did get talked about how it wasn't quite as recognizable as some of the other ones. Anyway, moving on. Number 32, The Blackened Sky. Okay, this one has the switch between the fast and the slow parts, slow and fast, vice versa, whatever. The slow parts are nice, but I think the fast parts of number 32 are the catchiest, especially that cool sounding bit in the background of the fast sections. That's actually just one patch that I was able to find in the recent sound bank. I'll play a clip of it right now. I actually renamed that instrument within the actual song file to the cool thingy, because that is what it is, a cool thingy. Really though, I wanted to make something a little bit more orchestral, I guess you could say. Something that's... See, I'm not sure quite how to describe it. It's a bit ominous, sure, but it also has the strings, which I hadn't placed as much of a prominent role in past songs. But as we can see in the next one, it got a lot more of a prominent role. Number 33, Spire Ascent. Now before making this song, I just discovered this really nice strings patch, and I wanted to try it out, so that's basically the inspiration behind this whole song. It's also the first song I've made that doesn't use drums, which seems like some sort of milestone, I guess? I'm honestly not sure. Before releasing this, I showed this song to my girlfriend Caitlin. You might remember her, she's been on the channel before. And it was at her suggestion that I put the quieter piano part in the middle, and I think it was a pretty great addition, so awesome. Moving on to number 34, Moonlit Sea. Now there's some pretty powerful piano here, combined with the background really gives it, at least to me, a sort of moonlight feel, hence the title. Also, that fade in / out noise that I use at 138 and 154 was actually made by taking a cymbal crash, chopping the beginning off in Audacity, exporting that, then reversing that clip and putting it in front of the non-reverse section. Whew, so that kind of gets a nice rise and fall sort of effect without the hard crash of the beginning of the cymbal. On to number 35, Ascent. I'm honestly not sure how that's pronounced, although I know how it's written. So, it's Ascend in Latin. Yeah, I'm definitely glad I made a Binding of Isaac Rebirth remix, because this song in particular stood out to me from the whole soundtrack. Yes, the lyrics past verse 1 are original. Oh, and by the way, the word lost in verse 3 is actually capitalized. And for those of you who don't get what I mean, spoilers. I was a little bit reluctant to do the lyrics and add my own voice and all that. Some of that reluctance was embarrassment, I will admit, so that's why I made that sort of alternate instrumental-only version, in case you don't want to listen to my voice, which I totally understand. And if I do put my voice into another song past this one, it'll likely have a less prominent role. I'll also build off some of the feedback I got on this one and sound a little less, how can I put this, subdued, I suppose? I basically want to sound more energetic. And I know that Ridiculon, who made the original Binding of Isaac Rebirth soundtrack, is actually coming out with some new pieces for the Afterbirth expansion later this year, so who knows, maybe I'll like those even better. Moving on to number 36, Champions Ultimatum. Ah yes, another piece with a weird time signature. I guess you can tell I'm a fan of those. Now this one stemmed from that one chord progression in the chorus, that D to E flat to E, back to E flat, and just kind of went off in a direction. I was originally just going to make this a simple loop, but I actually decided to add those quick techno-y drums for the second time around, and I think it kind of adds to it. And I'll leave this one by saying that it's also kind of a sequel of sorts for Music Monday's number 11, Champion's Vendetta. Take that as you will. Number 37, Haven. Now I noticed only after making this one that parts at the beginning especially sound similar to number 34, Moonlit Sea, but I think the tone differentiates enough. This one's a lot calmer. I also haven't made a softer piece in a while, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out actually. That rain sound effect at the beginning, fun fact, is actually hail. The song originally didn't have it, but I was able to get a good sound recording when it was hailing the day before I released this, and I added it kinda last minute. And you know, I'm pretty glad I did. I think it definitely makes it a lot better, especially with the whole calming atmosphere. Number 38, Forward. Okay, now this one's a lot more energetic. It uses a pretty common chord progression, and I wanted to make something more upbeat, something a little happier, I suppose. I especially love that organ, and that's probably my favorite part of this one. The chords just sound really nice, I don't know. It's just the instrument, I suppose. The drums around 32 seconds in were actually made by importing the regular drums sound file into Audacity and using the walkie-talkie equalization feature that they have. And I've used that in a couple songs since. Number 39, Amicus, Curiae. Now, amicus curiae is actually a legal phrase meaning friends of the court, which I think the Ace Attorney games in particular are full of, figuratively that is. I've known about the Ace Attorney soundtrack for a while, especially this track, but I just recently played an Ace Attorney game for the first time and I really enjoyed it. So that inspired me to actually make a remix of it. It's pretty heavy on the accordion in the beginning, but shifts to that softer piano near the end, but unfortunately, try as I might, that slower ending portion still kinda bothers me. I just can't seem to work out the timing in a way I really like. I mean, I know I wanted it to slow down at the end, I just wasn't quite able to do it in a way that I was 100% happy with. Number 40, Event Horizon. Okay, I just really like how this one sounds. I'm very partial in particular to the part around a minute 15 in, where the melody stops at points. I also realized after it was done that the chords around a minute 25 in sound kind of like that progression from Metroid. I'll edit it in here. Oh, and those powerful chords the second time around were partly inspired by the organ from the Interstellar soundtrack. I'm a big fan of Hans Zimmer, and I know that he was able to get like this giant pipe organ when he was making that, which led to some really, really strong notes, and I wanted to try and do something a little bit similar with this one. Okay, so that about does it for this time around. As usual, I will leave you guys with a little bit of a sneak peek from something I've got in the works. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.